So what's been going on here? So news about a wrestling game has come out and I haven't spoken about it. That's very out of character for me. I don't know why I've not done that. The only thing I can think is, I have failed you, Anakin. I have failed you. Hello and welcome to FTTR, I am Ewan McQuaid, and yes, like I said in the intro, I have failed you. I have not covered AEW Fight Forever sort of at all since I've been on here that I can think of, unless I have, but I really can't think about it. But no, we've got sort of like a lot more details, juicy deets about the game, and the main focus of this video is, should you be hyped for AEW Fight Forever? Then we'll get to the answering of that question at the end of the video, but first hit subscribe if you like wrestling game content, if you like wrestling reviews, if you like just hearing me, an English man, talk about wrestling. If you like that, hit subscribe, means a lot to me. Let's try and get up to 300 subs by talking about AEW Fight Forever, this game developed by THQ Nordic and Yukes. That's very important going forward. So my overall impressions of the game, without playing it, just from the few sprinkles of clips we've had released up until now, is it looks fine. I'm not going to say it looks like, the game I was expecting or necessarily the game I was hoping, but if you're a wrestling game fan, there's two types of wrestling game fan. You've got the fan of the arcade style of No Mercy, of WWE All-Stars, that sort of very arcadey feel, and you've also got the simulation fans, sort of the 2K era of games that really veered hard into the simulation-based format. Me, I'm going to say I fall in the middle. Maybe leaning a little bit over to the simulation side, because I really like trying to put on 5-star matches, really sort of emulating the pace of a match in real life. For instance, on WWE 2K22, I love lots of kickouts, near falls, drama. I love all that stuff in the matches. I'm not necessarily fussed, even if I win. If I put on a good match, I'm happy with that. But I also lean heavily into the arcadey side. I love, for instance, even though this is more of a simulation, maybe just in sort of art style, Fire Pro Wrestling is a great arcade feel wrestling game. You've got indie games like, Retromania, which is a really fun indie arcade game. You've got the classics. I really love WWE All-Stars. I really fucking love the TNA Impact game. I don't know if that necessarily falls into simulation or arcade, but fucking TNA Impact, I love. Legends of WrestleMania, I know, I love that game. WWE 2K Battlegrounds, even that game to an extent, I liked. Going on to AEW Fight Forever. What I will say about it, from the initial thoughts, presentation maybe not for me, sort of a mix of, like, the character models are very arcadey, but the actual sort of stage, the Dynamite stage, and the fans that you can see is very sort of simulation based. It looks very good and very authentic. This latest trailer, I'm going to call the Britt Baker Tony Schiavone trailer. They called it a breakdown or something. They gave it a special name on the YouTube channel, but I'm going to call it the Britt Baker Tony Schiavone trailer. Has actually got me a lot more hyped, even with the small snippets of gameplay that we've seen from Fight Forever. I think it looks really cool. The one bit that sort of really stuck out to me was none of the weapons-based stuff, none of the career-based stuff. It was just the simple sort of fluidity of movement that Britt Baker's character model had over Adam Cole's character model. It really looks like sort of they're going off the No Mercy stuff and chaining move after move after move, which is sort of been attempted in modern wrestling games to an extent. You've got the combo system in WWE 2K22, but this looks very fluid and looks like you can chain a lot of things together. That's what's missing. Having a really fast-paced game with no sort of breathing rooms. As much as I love, like I said, the simulation-based games, having a very fast arcade wrestling game, there's a market for that. There really is. And if AEW can hit that niche, THQ Nordic can do that, then it might be in for something really special. Is there anything to be trepidatious about? I think it's entirely dependent on where you're coming at this game from a wrestling fan, because it seems to be appealing to casual players, pick up and play mentality, which is very good when it comes to wrestling games. You don't want to overcomplicate things and, make the systems too in-depth. That is Fire Pro Wrestling all over. You have to learn Fire Pro Wrestling, and it's great. It's very rewarding to play. It's not exactly a pick up and play, let's get all our friends around, because they won't have a clue what they're doing. If they can hit that niche, really solid. Bugs. That's just modern gaming. Bugs and, the polish of the game. I'm hoping, being a massive gaming fan, Kenny Omega won't let this game go out with loads of bugs. Fingers crossed. But bugs is always something that you need to be wary about. The WWE games have been known to be buggy. WWE 2K20, which again, not developed under Yukes. That is a very buggy game. Even the Yukes games, your 2K12s, your 2K19s, had their fair share of bugs. It's something that just happens within wrestling games. The next question: will it succeed? I think that is the biggest question on everyone's lips when it comes to the AEW video game. Because aside from everything, I think WWE 2K22 proved that there is a market for wrestling games. Regardless of how bad WWE 2K20 was, they took the time, they built a game that is good, really solid, and it sold really well. It sold really, really well. And this is a jumping off point for AEW. Of course, you've got the cover, which has a few marketable stars on. I believe you've got Moxley, you've got Jericho, you've got Punk, you've got Cargill, you've got Britt Baker, you've got, I think it's Kenny. I think Kenny's the other person. There might be someone else on the cover, but that's what I'm going on off the top of my head. And I think it could be a hit if it proves to be as fun as the gameplay shows. If there's a lot of depth in the game as well, because you don't want it to be, very stagnant. That's what WWE 2K Battlegrounds was. It was a lot of flair, a lot of, very cool animation, but there was no substance to the combat, no substance to the story. It was very shallow. And to an extent, you look at the career mode, some of the footage that's come out of the AEW Fight Forever career, looks very interesting. It's very, very arcadey. Adam Cole's swinging the baseball and hitting it out the field. Who knows what that is about? But it looks fun. Very reminiscent of Wii Sports is the vibe I got from that. But they haven't shown any sort of overarching gameplay, any full matches or anything like that. That's when we'll get into the, okay, it's not buggy, it looks fun, we can get past maybe some of the janky character models and just have a fun game that is there to play. And finally, that leads on to the question of this video. Is the hype there for an AEW video game? I think it is. I genuinely think it is. You look at the roster of characters and wrestlers that are going to be in this game. You look at, some of the match types that might be in this game. They've announced a few, maybe there's more to come. And you've essentially got a really fun action arcade wrestling game that can fill the void that 2K Battlegrounds left, if done correctly. There is every chance this game bombs. But I think in the wrestling community, in the internet wrestling community, the hype is there for this game. If you follow wrestling games, you know about this, and you want to play it, surely, just out of pure intrigue. I think if any wrestling promotion put out a game, you'd want to play it out of pure intrigue. Even the goddamn 5-star wrestling game that is, terrible, you want to play if you're an internet wrestling fan, a gaming fan, a wrestling game fan. That's what I'm trying to say. And yeah, I'm here for AEW Fight Forever. Genuinely am. Can't wait to see when it finally gets a release date. I don't think anything's sort of been given yet. I doubt it's coming out at the end of this year. I would say 2023 is more likely. But we shall see. We shall see indeed. I want to know your thoughts down in the comments below about AEW Fight Forever. Will you be getting the game? Will you be playing it at friends, then maybe getting it? Are you just ditching it entirely to just play WWE 22? Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll try and reply to every single one of you. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.